Hey y'all, what's up? It is your girl Ariana Chanel with the Petty Punch, and guess what? Last night was the season finale of Love and Hip Hop New York, and if you missed it, don't worry because I'm here to fill you all in. So the episode first kicks off with Safaree meeting up with the boys. He's talking about his Paradise, record that's supposed to be coming out with everyone, and he's like, Yandy's just gonna have to find out that she's not really on this record for real until the party. So then Jacquees like, oh, you should put my girl Cayenne on the record because Brittany still did not send her track to Safaree for him to, work stuff out. So Safaree's like, all right, that sounds good. Meanwhile, Juju meets up with Yandy and Remy, and, Juju tells them that she's been hanging out with Safaree for a while. And Remy is like, look, you need to keep that strictly platonic. But Yandy's like, hey, if you're happy, I'm happy. Juju seems like she's feeling Safaree, but she still seems like she's a little bit hesitant. Now we move on to Jonathan and Anais, and they actually meet up. And Jonathan has a little setup for Anais. So he invites Ruben to come to lunch with them. And Jonathan goes steps aside. Jonathan goes steps aside so Ruben and Anais can talk things over. Anais really apologizes to him and says she wants this marriage to work out and she really wants to do everything she can to fix it. Ruben's like, well, why should I believe you now considering, everything that's happened? But Anais promises she would never do anything again. Now, fast forward, Jonathan, Ruben, and Anais end up going out. And Ruben actually goes speak to Rich because they're in the same club. And Ruben's like, hey, despite what me and you've been through together, I didn't really know about you. I'm not going to, have any hard feelings towards you, but just know that she's back with me. So Rich is being messy. He's like, that's funny because, she was just showing Jacquees, her box, if y'all remember what happened at St. Martin. So Ruben's like, oh, for real? Then Anais sees what's going on, so she comes over there and says, Rich, why are you trying to be messy? Nothing even happened. So she just gets Ruben to walk away, and it seems like things might be a little shaky, but Ruben pretty much has her back. Now, Juju's actually turning her book into a play, and she casted Safaree and Yandy to be a part of it. Now, Bianca was supposed to be a part of it, but she canceled last minute, so she said basically forget her, and Juju takes Bianca's role. Now, this role is a love interest with Safaree, so Safaree is loving this. Now, Juju steps aside, so Yandy and Safaree start talking, and Yandy's like, okay, what's going on with this record? Safaree's like, I'm just going to do this by myself because it is mine. And Yandy feels some type of way. She says, I'm just trying to make this record go to the next level, but if you want to do that, all right, cool. So Yandy ends up leaving, and Juju feels some type of way because she's like, okay, you're going to leave on my rehearsal too. Now at Safaree's release party for his single Paradise, he invites everyone, and Yandy even shows up despite what happened at the rehearsal to basically show her support. And Juju, of course, shows up, and she goes talk to his family, and his family and her got really good chemistry. So they're talking everything out, and, his mom's like, hey, why don't y'all just go ahead and get together? But Juju's like, hold on, Safaree has a reputation of different woman in his life, and she just really doesn't want to go there at this moment yet. Brittany comes, and she's so excited, but she doesn't know she's not on the record yet. So when the song comes on and she sees Cayenne and Mariah on it, but not her, Brittany feels some type of way and leaves for a second because she's really heated. She then comes back, and her and Cayenne get into it again, and they end up turning into a big fight, but security was holding everyone pretty much back. So the episode ends just like that, and then towards the end, they end up wrapping up everything. All the cast members pretty much say the goals that they have moving forward. But next week, the reunion will be on, so be sure to tune in next week for another recap of that. And go on thepettypunch.com for your latest entertainment and gossip news.